Hello and welcome to Tech Time Live. My name is Jonathan Ott and I'm proud to be the Digital Marketing Specialist for BEA. With me today is Rob Rivera, Technical Service Specialist at BEA. Today's topic will be the importance of LZR-WIDESCAN setup. BEA's LZR-WIDESCAN is a laser-based time-of-flight sensor used for motion, safety, and presence detection in a variety of industrial door applications. In this Tech Time Live, Rob will guide you through proper setup and troubleshooting of the LZR-WIDESCAN. Topics covered include alignment, WIDESCAN app viewer, and how to identify and troubleshoot using the app viewer. Let's take it over to Rob and get things started.
Hello, this is Rob Rivera with BEA Technical. Here today on the Tech Time Live, we have a video today for the WIDESCAN. Now, I know we've done videos in the past on the WIDESCAN for installation, for programming via the app and the remote, but this is going to be a very specific Tech Time Live on the WIDESCAN. There's been a lot of technical calls on the startup process on the WIDESCAN, particularly on the left side, but also some center, and understanding what you're doing, why you're doing it, and to help you prevent callbacks due to the safety curtain. Particularly, it can be the presence in some cases, seeing more than what it should be, and how to identify that. So first, let's go directly into the startup and what we're doing. First, we're going to do the center mount. So as you can see, sensor's pointed straight down. I'm underneath it. And it's mounted at approximately 10 feet, 10 and a half feet. So first thing we want to do, and we're going to start this with the remote, is we're going to turn on our spots. When you hit unlock, always it goes into program mode and it blinks red on the bottom left, as you can see. Now, the magic wand, if you hit it 2 times, and you don't want to hit it super rapidly, you want to just hit it like magic wand, magic wand. And now you'll see some spots that I will identify on the ground. So there's one spot. Here's our other spot. So the significance of the 2 dots is the center line, and the significance of the center line is the WIDESCAN, unlike other sensors, measures from the center and goes right and goes left. And what I mean by that is, one, the pattern is in a square or rectangular shape, depending on how you configure it. And you align that with where you want it. If our door opening started right with the carpet right here on one side, and our door was right here on the other line, our center line therefore would be midway on the carpet. So if we have our dots shifted over to the right, the whole box is going to be aligned over to the right. And which means that when we're done, this side over here, the pattern could actually come over to here. And then when you put devices over here to the right, they would be not inside the doorway, but to the right of the doorway, but it still would activate your safety pattern or your presence, depending on how you have it configured. And then over here, of course, on this side, your patterns on all your fields would be shy of the doorway. So you have some vulnerability over there. And when you adjust the WIDESCAN, it adjusts evenly from the right and the left. It comes into the center. So if you had a 10-foot pattern and you adjusted it down 1 foot, you'd go half a foot over this way and half a foot over this way. You did 2 feet. Obviously, you'd have 1 foot off on the right, 1 foot off on the left, towards the center. So the 2 dots should be really accurately placed on the center line. In this case, with our 2 dots here, and I'm actually going to accentuate this real quick. you can see our two dots. Just to give you some relevance on how predominant they are. Now we're going to go up to our sensor. Now the sensor, those of you who are familiar with it already know this. Those of you who have not installed it, it's like a steering wheel. It can be steered to the right and to the left. Okay. Now on a center, obviously you want it to be as straight up and down as possible, and you want, again, your dots to be in the center of your doorway. So this is what you want. And what you're going to be looking at here is your three relays, your three outputs. And you have your motion, presence, and your safety. Motion on the right, presence center, safety left. So here's my dots. They're protruding up underneath. You can also see a symbol. It's indicating it's a center mount because it's pointed straight down right off the dot. And so we align our dots. We can then, if we were doing this from the center, we could just, which is very convenient because you're gonna have to be up here anyway to align this. You push OK, and you'll see it save. And you'll see it say OK because it's pretty much the arrows are aligned, the bottom arrow pointing up, the top arrow pointing down. So we push OK again. Or you would just enter. Now it's going to want to go into an install. We can enter OK, get down from this point. Now you can see the significance of having the two dots placed evenly to the right, evenly to the left of the center line of your door. The more accurately you align that to the center line, the more accurately you'll have your pattern to the right and left. Now, that does not assure that it's going to be inside your doorway. What it means is that you now are evenly aligned with your doorway. And now when you adjust your sensor, adjust the pattern smaller, it will evenly come in on each side and fit inside your doorway once you get it there. This sensor is designed to see vehicles in that doorway. So there's a couple things to know about that. If you obtain a flatness error on there, E5 flatness error, it would be a measurement on those two dots, something in between those two dots that is not flat, that is causing your flatness error. So from dot to dot, and probably about 3 to 5 feet out, depending on how high the sensor is mounted, that's where someplace in between those dots, there's something protruding that it's seeing. So that's kind of one thing. The other thing is that you have 3 screws up there that we've covered in the installation video that allow you to go closer to your door with the bottom 2, one on the right and one on the left. Sorry, the one on the top actually takes it in and out. The one on the right and left allow the dots. If they were not placed evenly with the door, you could align those to where they're even with the door. So that's the significance of those. This whole process is extremely important. If you don't install it and align it properly from the beginning, you will have technical calls back to come back and you'll be trying to figure out what is the problem. And we're going to show you with the app. If any of you have used the app, any of you who haven't, I urge you to use it. It makes life really, really great. It has a viewer in it that will help you identify these issues. Let's go into a learn. So now, with the learn, you can see the rapid blink there because it's seeing something. We've now aligned it. We go unlock. We can see our blinking red light on the bottom left. We can go magic wand. And we see it accepts the magic wand, it blinks rapidly. Now we hit the 0. We just go into our red, green, red, green. Now we have no blinking lights, and it took about 10, 15 seconds. So we have a fully learned sensor. And now part of the problem from this point can be identifying. We actually have something in the presence, which I think is my ladder. Okay, was my ladder. So now when I go in towards the pattern, we can see here that I am right on that carpet. And we can see when I come over here to the other side, I'm shifted over this way a little bit. A little bit. I'm a little bit over to this side, which means I didn't line it completely accurately on the center of this. But for this video, I didn't measure the carpet. I didn't mark my center line. If I was on a job site, I would measure my doorway. I would mark it with a pen, pencil, a dime, a small screwdriver, anything. Mark your center line, adjust those two dots on the center line, pick that up, and then do a learn, and you'll have a much more accurate installation. Now, I want to quickly go over the process and why left hands can be a problem. So now we're going to take a look at the sensor doing a left mount. So now we're going to call the center of my door this carpet line, right in between the two. So now you can see I put one spot here, and we are going to take a look at the measurement on this for our center line. So from our center line, looks like we're about 27 inches. Okay. Now on this side, there's our little spot. You can see it on my tape there. And sitting about 24.5. So pretty close. It's not going to be exact. Lazy dog. So we're going to have an approximate center on this. Now, the things to know about it is we've aligned the dots on our center line. To the right of it, the sensor is mounted to the left. The dots are to the right. That is a left mount. The sensor is mounted to our left. Okay. So now, if you were, after you were completed with this whole situation and the tune in and everything, if you were to turn on your dots on a left mount, you will not, I want to be very clear, you will not see the spots aligned on the center line. There's a reason for that, and that's what we're going to cover. So techs can quickly look at a left-hand mount and see if it's been done right or wrong. I've been on a few job sites where that's our center line. The spots were evenly aligned on the center line on a left mount, which means it's wrong because this is step number one on the left hand. Left hand, so step one is to line it on our center line, but we are not done. Okay, so now we have it mounted on the left. We did an unlock, we did a magic wand, magic wand. We now see our spots, as I mentioned, to the left on our between our carpets. Now this part has to be done up here. So what we're saying to it is, let's go back to 3, hold for 3 seconds. We will see the screen that says align it on the center line. Now you see this on the center mount as well. On the center mount, we move our dots to the center line and we just do a learn, that's it. But on the left mount, at this point, we would see our dots. We'll see the one there. We'll see the one next to Junior over there. And we're not done now. So now we've got our dots aligned on the center. Now we have to push it one more time. Now, what the sensor is saying is, if you want your center line to be there, you need to move the bottom of the sensor this direction to align these two. I warn you all, it jiggles a little bit. So this is where it's like a steering wheel. Move it and let it settle. Move it and let it settle. You can see it says okay because we're inside of that. But I like mine to be aligned as perfectly as I can. And you can see now that we are okay and our arrow to arrow. So now we can push okay because
again, what we did was we put our dots on the ground and it said if we accepted it, we're telling it, this is where I want my center line. Now, when we push that button and say, that's where I want my center line, it tells me if you want that center line, you have to move the sensor this way to obtain that. Now we're there and it's now telling us, okay, we're good. Now, at this point, there is I don't know if you can see it, but there's a secure screw, a set screw on the backside. That's the number 2 Phillips that you can tighten this down so it doesn't jiggle. That is a big deal on jobs. If you have vibration, forklifts, vehicle movement, you're going to have vibration. Tighten that screw. Tighten that screw so you don't have to come back because you have misalignment after the fact. So I'm not going to do that because I'm just demonstrating this to you.
So now that we
have aligned everything, accepted it, let's look at where are our dots now, because this is the position to obtain this center line. This is the position the sensor is going to be in, and it told us that. Hit unlock, I hit magic wand. Now I've got my dots, and you can see one dot is here, and one dot is right here. So it is not centered on the center line, and it will not be, because that's not the process for a left mount specifically. This is the process. Every left mount you will see it move slightly left, because what we're doing is we're taking a sensor that is over here to the left and projecting the box that we set up over here to the right. And this is the installation wizard that helps us obtain that, does all the math for us. So now, all we have to do, okay, so we go unlock, go magic wand, and we're gonna go 0. And now you will see it go red, green, and turn dark. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to get into the app and show you how accurate we are on our center line and what it looks like. Okay, so what you all should be seeing now is my WIDESCAN app. Okay, we can see our normal display here. You could obviously activate your spots and recheck them if you wanted to. But at the bottom of the screen, you'll see that we have settings, we have viewer. Let's immediately go into our viewer. And when you go into the viewer, it's going to show us our patterns. Okay, and I can turn on object display. Now you can see where I'm standing. Okay, and let me go to the center line. Now I am actually walking on the center line. You can see I'm pretty aligned with my center. If I move my arm, it goes to the right. So we can see I'm pretty good on. Now if I go over here to my left, I can see the edge of my pattern. And this is where we can run into problems. And this is where this can immensely help you. I now move over to the right of my pattern. You can see me just over there on the right. And now if we go to my settings, if I wanted to change my settings on, this is the motion field, and I can set it to a narrower pattern and then accept it. Go to a narrow pattern. Let me see what I set my motion to. 1.8 meters. So if you go over here and go to 1.8 meters also, and go to my safety and go 1.8 meters. Now I accepted all of those. I confirmed it. And now here's the thing about the app that's really great. We go back to the viewer. Now we'll see the more narrow display. You can still see me over here out of the pattern. So now this would be the edge of the door, and now I can now put broomsticks or open closet doors or whatever over here on the right. Put pallets over here.
and it won't disrupt because that pattern now covers the width of the door, and it's very, very accurately aligned on the center of the door, and it's a left mount. So I really hope this helps people understand what's going on with the WIDESCAN when you're doing a teach-in and aligning it and making it to where the patterns is in your actual doorway. And you can see that on this display how evenly when you adjust it down, it goes from the right and from the left evenly. It does not move to the left or move to the right. It moves from right to left center, which is why we have the 2 alignment dots.
Okay, so this has been Tech Time Live on the WIDESCAN, on the startup. I hope it helps every technician in the world, and project manager, training, end users, everybody understand how this sensor works, what the difference is between a left mount and a center mount, how to achieve that centering of the pattern, how it functions, and it's an outstanding sensor. Just the feedback has been phenomenal. It's just been a learning curve for technicians to understand this is a very different type of sensor. So I really hope it helps everybody. I really appreciate everybody watching. If anybody has any feedback, now's the time. Rob Rivera with BEA Technical Support. If you have any questions or have any needs, we're always here. I'm out.
Thank you everyone for watching this Tech Time Live. Today we covered the importance of LZR-WIDESCAN setup. We covered alignment, the app viewer, and how to identify and troubleshoot using the app viewer. For more Tech Time Live videos, visit our YouTube channel at youtube.com/BEAsensors. Also be sure to visit our website at www.beasensors.com. Thank you for watching and have a great day.